What's up everyone, EJ here and welcome to the I Am Project. Today we have part 2 of the basement meditation. We're going to be talking about the soreness meditation today, the breakdown and the rebuilding. So without further ado, let's jump right in. The day after pushing to failure, reality shifts. Simple movements become complex negotiations. Sitting on the toilet requires strategy. Climbing stairs demands your full attention. This is soreness, the body's honest feedback system. Most people avoid this feeling. They see it as a punishment, as something wrong, as a sign they overdid it. But soreness became my second teacher in the basement laboratory. It revealed truth that extends far beyond muscle tissue. Temporary breakdown is the necessary price for permanent upgrade. Where training to failure taught me about will and presence, soreness taught me about trust and patience, the lesson of surrender, the wisdom of allowing the process to unfold on its own time. You cannot rush recovery. You cannot force growth. You can only create the conditions and trust the system to do its work. The evidence of transformation. Post-workout soreness is the physical proof that transformation is underway. Muscle fibers develop micro tears during intense training. Inflammation and repair processes begin almost immediately. The body rebuilds stronger than before. Temporary weakness leads to greater long-term strength. The cycle is universal. Stress, breakdown, rest, rebuild, stronger. This isn't just gym science. This is the fundamental pattern of all evolution. Soreness is also a humbling teacher. Yesterday, you felt powerful, lifting weights that are really heavy, conquering your limits. Today, you struggle with basic human movements. Forced mindfulness emerges. You can't ignore your body. You really can't when you're sore. Every movement demands your full presence. Gratitude surfaces for basic abilities normally taken for granted. Things like the ease of walking without pain, the simple gift of reaching for something, the luxury of comfort. Soreness humbles quickly, reminding you of vulnerability regardless of strength. You learn something critical. Pain doesn't always mean something is wrong. Sometimes it means something is being built. This distinction changes everything. The spiritual mirror. There's a direct parallel to consciousness work. Ego death and identity breakdown feel like emotional soreness. After deep inner work, shadow integration, belief examination, facing uncomfortable truths, you feel psychologically tender, almost raw, and vulnerable. Old patterns and beliefs must be torn down before new ones can emerge. Temporary confusion and disorientation precedes clarity and strength. You might question everything. Who am I without these beliefs? What remains when this identity dissolves? Why does growth have to hurt this much? These questions are the emotional equivalent of struggling with stairs after leg day. Evidence that deep work has been done. Evidence that rebuilding is happening beneath the surface. This discomfort is evidence of progress, not regression. Just like physical soreness, you must honor the recovery period and trust the rebuilding. You don't go back to the gym and destroy the same muscle the next day. You rest, you nourish, you allow. The same applies to consciousness work. After intense inner exploration, you need integration time, space to let new insights settle. Recovery, the undervalued half. Western culture worships action. More reps, more sets, more intensity, more hustle. But the magic doesn't happen during the work. It happens during the rest. Muscles don't grow during the training. They grow during recovery. Sleep is when protein synthesis peaks. Nutrition provides the raw materials for rebuilding. Rest allows for the nervous system to adapt. The actual transformation occurs in the space between efforts. Spiritual insight often comes after intense experiences, not during them. The breakthrough arrives in the quiet moment days after the difficult conversation. The clarity emerges while washing dishes, not during a meditation retreat. The integration happens when you're not trying. Sleep, nutrition, rest, integration are all active parts of transformation, not passive. Overtraining in the gym or life leads to breakdown, not breakthrough. The Western bias towards action misses this fundamental truth. Growth happens in the space between efforts. You must learn to value the recovery as much as the work. This is counterintuitive. It feels like you're not doing anything or enough. But forcing growth before the system is ready creates injury, not strength. Patience becomes practice. Trust becomes a discipline. Allowing becomes an art. Limitation as teacher. Soreness creates temporary limitation. And limitation is a profound teacher. When you struggle with basic tasks, appreciation floods in. The effortless days you normally ignore suddenly seem like miracles. Walking without pain, sitting without wincing, reaching without restrictions. You realize how much you take for granted when everything works smoothly. This is involuntary gratitude practice. You didn't choose it, but here it is. The body forcing you to notice what you usually overlook. The gift hiding inside the discomfort. Intentionally limiting yourself creates the same awareness. Fasting reveals the abundance of having food. Silence reveals the gift of speech. Solitude reveals the blessing of connection. Voluntary hardship reveals hidden blessings. Soreness does this automatically. It strips away your baseline and makes you grateful for normal. There's wisdom here about perspective. Your current struggle might be someone else's dream state. Your limited might be another person's healed. Your weak might be your former self's strong. Soreness teaches relativity. It shows you that your reference point determines your experience. This prevents taking anything for granted. The cycle you can trust. Once you've been through the soreness cycle enough times, something shifts. You stop fearing it. You start recognizing it as part of the rhythm. For example, day 1, you train hard, you feel powerful. Day 2, you feel a little sore. It gets hard to do things. Day 3, soreness peaks. Humility arrives. Day 4, settle down and almost get back to baseline. The pattern becomes predictable, trustworthy. You know the discomfort is temporary. You know the strength is coming. You know the process is working. This trust transfers to life cycles. The difficult periods after a major decision, the confusion following a spiritual awakening, the emptiness after releasing an old identity. You learn to recognize these as part of the natural rhythm. Not problems to fix, but phases to honor. You develop faith in the process itself, not blind faith, earned faith. Faith built on repeated evidence that the cycle completes. That breakdown leads to breakthrough. That temporary weakness precedes permanent strength. This is embodied wisdom. Not something you read, but something you've lived through your own flesh. Distinguishing pain types. Not all pain is created equal. And this is crucial wisdom that soreness teaches. Productive pain muscle soreness. It can be dull, widespread, it improves with movement. Growth discomfort, challenging but not damaging. Emotional tenderness after inner work. You feel raw, but you're healing. The stretch at your edge, uncomfortable but expanding. Harmful pain, sharp joint pain. It can be acute, localized, worsens with movement. Injury signals, the body screaming to stop, not just complaining. Trauma reactivation, collapse rather than expansion. Destructive patterns, pain that degrades rather than builds. Learning this distinction is essential. It prevents both stagnation and injury. Some people avoid all discomfort and never grow. Others push through harmful pain and break themselves. Wisdom is knowing which pain to honor and which to heed. Soreness trains this discernment. You learn your body's language. The difference between this is hard and this is wrong. The gap between I'm growing and I'm damaging. This skill transfers everywhere. Relationships, career choices, spiritual practices, knowing when to push and when to protect, when to surrender and when to fight. This is practical wisdom earned through the body. Your action steps. Step 1. Reframe your soreness. Next time you experience physical soreness, pause and say, this is evidence of work done. This is proof I'm rebuilding stronger. Notice the difference this reframe creates in your experience. Apply the same reframe to emotional tenderness after difficult growth work. Step 2. Practice gratitude during limitation. When soreness makes simple tasks difficult, name 3 things you normally take for granted. I'm grateful for the days when walking is easy. I'm grateful my body knows how to repair itself. I'm grateful for the strength that's coming. Let limitations reveal hidden abundance. Step 3. Honor your recovery. And this is probably the most important one. After intense physical or emotional work, schedule actual rest. Don't apologize for it or fill it with productivity. Sleep more, move gently, and nourish yourself well. Treat recovery as sacred work, not laziness. Track how your growth accelerates when you honor this phase. And step 4, learn your pain language. Keep a simple note on your phone or in a piece of paper distinguishing productive versus harmful pain. When you feel discomfort, ask, is this building me or breaking me? Practice responding appropriately. Push through productive. Stop at harmful. Build your discernment through repeated practice. Pretty easy. Different lessons, same path. Training to failure taught me about power and presence. Soreness taught me about patience and trust. Together, they form a complete practice. One is the yang, active, pushing, willing. The other is yin, receptive, allowing, surrendering. You need both. The push without the rest creates injury. The rest without the push creates stagnation. The rhythm between them creates transformation. This is the breath of growth. You inhale, stress, challenges, breakdown. And you exhale, rest, recovery, and rebuild. Both are necessary. Both are sacred. Neither works without the other. In the basement gym, I learned this rhythm through my body. Now I see it almost everywhere. In relationships, intensity and space, in creativity, creation and integration, in consciousness, expansion and consolidation, the universal pulse of all evolution. The synthesis, the body, is not separate from consciousness. It's the physical expression of it, the densest layer of your awareness made visible. What happens in muscle tissue happens in neural pathways. What happens in the gym happens in the mind. What happens in physical training happens in spiritual practice. The form changes, but the formula remains. Stress plus recovery equals growth. Always. You don't need to become a bodybuilder to learn these lessons. You just need the willingness to stress your system, either physically, emotionally, or spiritually, and the wisdom to honor the recovery that follows. You need the patience to trust the process when you can't see the results yet. You need the discernment to know productive pain from harmful pain. You need the humility to let limitation teach you gratitude. Soreness became my meditation on impermanence. Nothing lasts. Not the pain, not the strength, not the comfort, not the struggle. Everything is a phase in a large cycle. This is both humbling and liberating. You can endure anything temporary. You can trust any process that's proven itself before. So, here's the question for you watching. Where in your life are you currently sore? What's tender in your recent growth work? What's rebuilding beneath the surface while you feel temporarily weakened? Can you trust the process? Can you honor your recovery? Can you see soreness as evidence rather than punishment? You must know the breakdown is already happening. The rebuilding is already underway. Your only job is to trust it, nourish it, and allow it, and know that you're emerging stronger. That's all for today, guys. I hope some of that was useful for anybody out there. If that's the case, please like and subscribe. Remember, you guys are loved, and until next time, see you guys.